Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem, Makar Shalom to the elders, Wa'akim Wa'akwaf, and I say Shalom. And this is a sit-down lesson that I want to bring out of this recent news article from RT.com as of April the 19th, 2024. And this is just probably be a potential rumor, news article rumor. It's like the scripture says, there shall be wars and rumors of wars, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, as a reference to that scripture. So once again, this is a news article from RT.com as of April the 19th, 2024, as a sit-down lesson, and it reads, NATO one step away from sending troops to Ukraine. It says the conflict could drag Europe into its depths, and the Hungarian Prime Minister has warned. It says the leaders of the EU and NATO are potentially ready to deploy forces to Ukraine. Hungarian Prime Minister Orban claimed on Friday Brussels see the conflict between Moscow and Kiev as its own, and it's failing to consider the risk arising from the ever deeper involvement. He warned the move of the EU leaders is one war. Orban told gathering of the failed Fidesz party ahead of the EU preliminary elections. There is a pro-war majority in Brussels today, he said, adding that the bloc's politics are dominated by the logic of war. The EU politicians are ready so invested into the conflict that they fail to see the flaws in their strategy. The Prime Minister argued, despite all the money and weapons, the situation is not improving for Kiev. In fact, it is getting worse. We are one step away from the West sending troops to Ukraine, Orban warned. This is a vortex of war that could drag Europe into its depths. Bristol is playing with fire. It says, Budapest will not let itself drag into the hostilities and will not enter the war on each side, the Prime Minister pleaded, it says adding that this country must stand for peace everywhere, including Brussels, Washington, the UN, and NATO. We don't want war. We don't want Hungary to become a toy for great powers. Again, Orban stated, the idea of sending NATO troops to Ukraine has been repeatedly floating by Western leaders. French President Emmanuel Macron first raised it in February, saying all options are possible. Macron said he doubles down, stating that there are no limits to supporting for Kiev. See, words initially alarmed some NATO allies, who quickly denied having such plans. However, the French leader did receive backing for certain members of the U.S.-led military bloc. In March, Polish Foreign Minister Radoslaw Sikorski said Russian military operations in Ukraine requires a systematic escalation on the part of the West. Warsaw top's diplomatic also called the idea of the NATO presence in the Ukraine not unthinkable. Estonia Defense Minister Henrik Pekar said earlier in April that every NATO member already has military personnel in Ukraine operating as advisors or instructors. Last week, former British Minister of State for the Armed Forces, James Hepley, told Sky News that sending Ukraine forces to Ukraine deserve consideration. It says Moscow has repeatedly warned that deploying NATO troops in Ukraine would bring the U.S.-led bloc to. It says the U.S.-led bloc to the brink of a full-blown conflict with Russia. President Vladimir Putin stating that in March that it will be one step shy of a full-scale World War III. This is the prophet Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. Proclaim ye this amongst the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty man, let all the men of war draw near and let them come up. The prophet Joel, chapter 3, verse 10. Beat your plowshares and the swords and the pruning hooks into spears, and let the weak say, I'm strong. And this is the prophet Ezekiel. 38 and verse 1. The word of the Lord Yahweh thy power came unto me, saying, the prophet Ezekiel 38 and verse 2. Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, and the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him. Ezekiel 38 and verse 3. And thus saith the Lord, excuse me, and thus saith the Lord Yahweh thy power, I am against thee, O Gog, and the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. Ezekiel 38 verse 4. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thy armies, horse and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company of bucklers and shields, and all of them handling swords. So with that, hopefully this sit-down lesson was edifying from RT.com as of April 19, 2024, and it reads again, NATO is one step away from sending troops to Ukraine, Orban reports. The conflict could drag Europe into its depths. The Hungarian Prime Minister has warned. Like the scripture says, and ye shall hear of wars or rumors of wars, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. Especially, we've been seeing the increasing, rising tensions between EU and NATO, Russia versus NATO. So we've been seeing that back and forth, on and off, even if the reports might be true or not. But we definitely been seeing instance of signs of that, But with that, hopefully this sit-down lesson was edifying of this recent news article. And with that, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem Akakadash. Shalom to the elders, Wa'akim Wa'akwaf. Until next time, I will say Shalom.